Get ready to rise again, dust off your armor and eyeball, and take on the undead in Victoria, London. It's time for Sir Daniel Fortesque to save the day again, if he can keep his head on straight, as we collect all souls needed to achieve this platinum trophy in this week's game, Medievil 2. But what is Medievil 2? Well, Medievil 2 is an action-adventure game released in 2000, where you play as Sir Daniel Fortesque, a lovable skeletal knight, on a quest to save Victorian London from a supernatural outbreak. Set in a darkly humorous gothic world, you'll battle through creepy environments, solve puzzles, and defeat quirky enemies using a mix of swordplay, ranged weapons, and your trusty disembodied hand. It is the sequel to Medievil 1998, which was remade and reimagined for modern consoles in 2019, bringing Sir Daniel Fortesque's undead antics to a new generation of players. Medievil 2 has a total of 40 trophies, 4 gold, 11 silver, 24 bronze, and of course, 1 platinum trophy. The game consists of 11 levels and a set difficulty. Before we continue, note that your biggest enemy in the game will be the camera. It is not very user friendly and gets in the way more times than it should, so gamer beware. Thankfully, the game does come with a rewind feature, allowing you to rewind anytime you miss a jump, and trust me, you'll be doing that a lot, or getting yourself into a pickle. As always, let us start off with the collectibles. Chalices. Each level has its chalice, and to be able to collect it, you must defeat a set number of enemies to fill it up. There are 10 in total. Weapons. Collecting a chalice will reward you with a new weapon. There is no trophy for collecting all weapons, but there is one for defeating enemies using every type of weapon. And finally, life bottles. There are a total of 11 throughout the game. Now, if you miss a collectible or a mission-specific trophy, do not fear, as you can go back anytime and replay the level. However, there is no post-game cleanup available. Once the final boss is defeated, the game will end, so make sure to save before confronting him. In the description, I will link the full playthrough for the game with timestamps where all trophies can be achieved and where all the collectibles can be found. Nonetheless, let's go over a few trophies and where and how to unlock them. The trophies for finishing a level without taking damage, finishing a level using only Dan's arm, and defeating the Tyrannosaurus Rex only using Dan's arm can all be achieved in the second level of the game, which is the Tyrannosaurus boss fight. However, save this for the late game, as once you have defeated Jack the Ripper, you will get a shiny new set of armor that stops damage. This will eventually run out after several hits, but can be repaired at the vendor. Another trophy asks you to complete the museum by performing 20 or less attacks. This is easier than it sounds, as you can literally run past all enemies except for 2 rooms where you'll be forced to defeat 3 enemies in each room. Again, save this for when you get the final sword in the game, as it will 2-shot or 1-shot said enemies. In Kew Gardens, there are 2 chapter-specific trophies. The first is to save people from turning into pumpkin-style monsters. Use the antidote you receive from defeating enemies, but be careful when swinging your weapon, as they do take damage, aka friendly fire. And the second trophy you will have to come back at a later stage, once you unlock the ability to place your head on a hand. Here, you will need to find the secret room and then lead 4 hands to salvation. To stun a peeler in Whitechapel, you will need to use lightning. In the level Freak Show, there is a minigame where you will need to whack all the imps. At first, this seems impossible, as there are way too many to be able to whack all of them. The trophy is a little misleading, as you do not have to whack all of them. There are 3 rounds to this minigame, and to be able to unlock the trophy, you will need to whack 8 in the first round, 10 in the second, and 12 in the third. Achieving this will also unlock the fried chicken weapon. And finally, you will need to collect a grand total of 2,500 coins throughout your journey. The first level is excellent for farming this, as you can get over 500 coins per run. However, only once you have unlocked the ability to put your head on a hand. Just as you get into the main hall, there is a secret room where your hand can go in, and here you will find the majority of the coins. Use this farming method to be able to fully repair your golden armor and max out on bullets for your Gatling gun when it comes to the final boss. Trust me on this. Once all evil has been defeated, you should be the proud owner of an ultra-rare 2.5% platinum trophy. But is this platinum trophy worth waking up from your eternal slumber? Medieval 2 is a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to gameplay. While the trophy list and hunting experience are generally fun, offering a fair challenge that makes you earn your knighthood platinum trophy, the gameplay mechanics, especially the camera, will do everything in your power to stand in your way. At its core, Medieval 2 delivers a classic gothic world filled with quirky characters, staying true to the franchise's humor and charm. And while I still think the first game did it better, the sequel makes some solid attempts to keep things fresh. The combat allows you to charge in like a headless chicken, but be warned, some enemies will make you pay dearly for this. With limited health and some tricky boss fights, you'll have to strategize rather than hack and slash your way through sometimes. But the real final boss, the camera. It has a mind of its own, swinging wildly at the worst possible moments, often obscuring enemies mid-fight or making platforming an absolute nightmare. And speaking of platforming, if you didn't grow up playing games like this, I can see modern gamers quitting in frustration after few too many missed jumps. Sony, or whoever is overseeing these PlayStation 1 re-releases, really needs to implement quality of life improvements for today's players. But thankfully, the rewind feature is an absolute lifesaver, allowing you to undo frustrating moments, whether it be a mistimed jump or getting your bony butt handed to you by a horde of enemies. Now onto the trophy list, which is surprisingly well designed. The game sprinkles in some fun and creative challenges that aren't overly difficult, like defeating a T-Rex with just your arm or completing the museum level with 20 or fewer attacks. Nothing is missable, as you can revisit chapters as many times as you want, always a huge plus for trophy hunters. Here is where I am torn. On one hand, Medieval 2 has more ups and downs, but I wouldn't confidently recommend it to an average gamer. The janky camera and old school mechanics might scare them off. On the other hand, I want as many people as possible to play this game because it might revive the franchise, inspiring a remake, or push Sony to add more PlayStation 1 classics to PSN. So I'll end with this. If you grew up with the PlayStation 1, go relive your childhood and earn that platinum trophy. If you didn't, but love a challenge and want to experience an old school adventure, sharpen your sword, grab your shield, and dive headfirst into this gothic world. Medieval 2's platinum trophy is a 5 out of 10. Thanks everyone for watching. I have more videos like this on my channel, so go have a look at that. If you haven't already, like, comment and subscribe, as it really helps the channel. Thanks again for watching, and PTR out. See you next time.